Thank you again for tuning into the Alicia May channel. I want to take this time to really encourage everyone to think about everyone within our community, not just our silos that the world has placed us in, but everyone within the Africa diaspora. And as I said before from the very beginning, that includes Africans on the continent, African Americans in the US, African Latinos in Latin America, and African people of African descent in the Caribbean. Wherever you are in this world, we all originated from Africa. And when people look at us, they see this. Whether you're lighter, whether you're darker, this is what people see first. They see the color of our skin. Then they look at our features, and then they get to the way we speak and to make that determination of where you have been living, whether it's, as I said, wherever it is, on the continent, in the US, in the Caribbean, in Latin America. It doesn't matter because we're all judged the same way. We're all viewed as the same. So therefore we should think along the same line. Does it mean that we don't all have our prejudices? Absolutely, because of how the world has designed, how the world has influenced each and every one of us. And not only that, but how we grew up, the things that, that we were taught, or even things that we have personally experienced, has made us draw on certain conclusions and have certain prejudices. But I really would like to encourage everyone to evaluate your prejudices and start to work on changing some of them. Because when something happens to one of us, it happens to all of us. And in unity, there is power. There's power in our voice. There is power in our money. It is whether you have a lot of money or you have a little bit. The fact that you take a stand with what you have and how you use your voice does volumes. It does wonders around the world, which is why we live in a world that tries to keep us apart. Because if you really evaluate and look to see at what we've done within our silos, pretty much almost every major invention was done by someone of African descent. Heart surgery, discovering of a procedure to deal with fibroids, with uterine cancer, with cell phone creation. The oldest university is in Africa. It was in Morocco. This is where Europeans and the Greeks, they went there to learn about philosophy and medicine and so forth, and mathematics. That's where they went to learn. It was formed in, I think, 859 AD. There's just so much that we can think about. Even Robert Mugabe, who is known, he passed away in 2019, but he is the most educated president in the world. He still holds that title. That was the, at least he's passed on, so he was the most educated president in the world. So there's a lot for us to draw from, and not just think that, this group did not deal, yes, we're of African descent, but this group did not deal with slavery. Okay, for the transatlantic slave trade, that means we were taken from Africa, and we were brought to the Caribbean, and we were brought to Latin America. That is phase 1 and 2, and then 3, it was to the U.S. colonies. That's 3. So yes, so those of us, we do have that background of slavery, so we can sympathize with one another. However, being colonized, those on the continent, they were colonized. So being colonized is not a walk in the park. We all of us, even within our silos, we've all dealt with institutional racism. We all know what it's like to have our people raped and abused, beaten and discarded, even killed, with no justice. We all know what that feels like. We also know what it's like to be taken for granted. We've all been through that. We also all know what it's like to have people who are in authoritative positions that look like us but don't do anything for us. We've all had that experience. So we have more alike than we have not alike, in all honesty. And it doesn't matter if you're rich or you're poor, we've all experienced it in some form or another. We've all been made to conform in some way or another, to play, quote unquote, play the game, to try to get ahead, those who try to like say, let me try to do something till I can be able to speak and do things on my own, and had to play that game. We've all been there. We've all done it. So yes, we do know. My point is that I don't want us all to just think that your pain is just you. That it's just you. We all feel that same pain. We just feel it. We feel it in different ways. We're experiencing it everywhere. We're all told to hate one another when we all have the same plight. And it's all by design to keep us from uniting. As I said, like every major invention was done by someone of African descent. If you do your research, you will see that the majority of them were done by people of African descent. So if we're that great in our individual style, imagine how we would be together. To really, like, really together. It doesn't mean that it'll be kumbaya and that it'll be all perfect. Not necessarily, because as siblings, you can have siblings. It's not perfect all the time. You be like fighting like you're crazy and being competitive. But when it comes to the nitty gritty, if one touches your sibling, you're all going down to be like, yo. You could be fighting with your sibling 1 second, but somebody comes after your sibling. You're like, yo, I'm like, no, you can't have that. You stop fighting your sibling. The two of you be like, no, you can't come and gang up on us. That's how we need to be. That's why we need to put our voice and we need to put our money, because economics speaks volume. If somebody's abusing your brother or your sister, don't be giving them their money. You don't give them your money. That is going to hit more because they want your money. They don't want you, but they want your money. So that's going to hit more than you still being complacent and be saying, hey, because you know what the message you send? You're sending that message that, oh, it's okay for me to treat your people horribly because you're still going to come to me. You're still going to pay. You're going to still patronize me. That's one. Number two, we need to stop hating within ourselves, which is colorism. I mean, we should remember that what you're glorifying, beauty is in everything, and you should be glorifying the beauty from within as well as from the outside. It's hard to even fathom sometimes when I think that when I see media and I see other things within the entertainment industry, and even just outside in the street, where just because somebody may have smoother skin or whatever features they may have, sometimes we need to think that we are glorifying features that came from our ancestors being abused, and we made that epitome of beauty when we come in all different shades and we come in all with different features that are the most beautiful. And not the only one that said, actually, Greek philosophers said that African women were the most beautiful women in the world. Hey, I'm just saying. But you find beauty everywhere. But I want you, and this is not to bash other cultures, this is about focusing on the African diaspora and to saying that, look, we need to love within our community. We need to love one another, and we need to feel each other's pain. Because if we're not reacting to each other's pain, then they'll continue to gun down people who are innocent, that are unarmed, that are in their beds, that are in their homes, that are on the street doing normal things like everyone else. So we always have to be smart, and you have to be smart and be like Lord, like, what should I be doing during this time? Because I know what my rights are, and I know how to protect myself in those rights. So you need to do what you need to do within the confines of the law. Let me just say, you need to do what you need to do in the confines of the law. That's number one. And number two, as I said, you need to show outrage for where any one of us is being mistreated. As I said, like, you don't want to see your brothers or sisters being gunned down, senselessly on the street. So you need to rise up about that. Just like how you need to rise up when you've seen your brothers and sisters being evicted in another country. Yes, for no particular reason. Their money is good. Their they're there to do a job, so, or for whatever their purposes is there, there's no reason to put them out on the street and blame them for something that you know very well it has nothing to do with them. So we all have to rise up for things like that. Or when a country refuses to allow their their citizens in because they're not in the social class of the elite. Are you crazy? This is your countrymen. Okay? This is where they were born. Why aren't you letting your people why aren't you letting people back in? Why are you letting them be at sea for no particular reason? We all need to be outraged at that, and we need to voice our opinions. Not only just voice it, we need to, by voicing it, not just getting out in the streets, but get on social media, get to your councilman, deal with it at the polls when you go, and you be like, no, I ain't voting you back in. I don't care what kind of mess you're talking, because you did. What have you done for me? What have you done for me? And that's why I said we all have the same plights. We've all experienced it. We've all experienced politicians that looks like us that have done nothing for us. We've all have dealt with social leaders who look like us but have done nothing for us. Because have we seen, especially in the U.S., have we seen any justice for some of the people who have been for the people who have been killed, for Black people who have been killed senselessly? Have we really seen any justice? We really haven't. So it's time for us to hold people accountable, and for us to be accountable for each other and be concerned about each other's plight because of what we're going through. Because every last one of us, regardless of whether we grew up on the continent or outside of the continent, we all, if we listen to each other's stories, we all experience the same thing. As I said, we all experience institutional racism. We've all been treated unfairly. We've all known what it's like to know someone or had our ancestors beaten, raped, killed, and no justice. We all know what it's like to have politicians who rape and pillage but do nothing for our community. Do not do anything to uplift their community but just uplift themselves. We've all seen it, heard it 1,000 times over. So now, as we come together, this is the season for us to all come together. As I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be kumbaya, because brothers and sisters aren't necessarily kumbaya. They fight too. They disagree sometimes. But when it's time to unite and to stand as one when you see things that are going against your community and what you need to do, because it's time to rise up and it's time to do better and to be better. Let us stop being the crabs in the barrel. The crab in the barrel is when every time a crab tries to get up to the top to get out for freedom, someone in the barrel keeps trying to pull it down. Quit looking at it that way and start looking to each other, because we are living in times where we really need to look to one another as well as the Most High. Have a good one and be blessed. And thank you again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Have a good day.